2nd December 2018, thousands of students who appeared in exam of NTA NET JRF first time converted in online mode. It left many students shocked, confused, and happy. Well, I Vineet Pandey is going to talk about the pattern of the exam and what are the traditions related to NET JRF exam and what can be the future changes in NET JRF exam. Moreover, I'm going to talk about the benefits and the loss of the last paper structure and how it is going to hamper the study patterns of the students, coaching institutes, classes, and the market guidebooks. Friends, many of you have attempted the exam. Now, do you remember this fact that UGC NET was one of the toughest exams, and then last to last two exams, last exam and the last one, were the easiest exam. When I uploaded my first review, it was like questions, I got some answers by the students, some messages, and one of my class student, he told that approx 60-70% content was from my class. So it was not that up to the mark, because generally we give you around 90%, 95% content. But when he said it was like 60-70%, I was like, okay, maybe, but we have to go for many other response. And then we got a lot of responses, messages, and mostly we actually surveyed 50 to 70 responses, and that's why I said that paper was easy and kind of tricky. But then when we got actual paper and when we went for all the questions, the structure, the standard, and no doubt the multiple responses of thousands, means approx 1200 plus own students, the online students, 200 plus the class students, then my own Facebook contacts, other contacts, YouTube students. So studying this kind of the structure of the paper, taking their responses, using my own skills, own experience of 6 years teaching in the NET JRF field. Now I'm going to give you a review. Yes, this is Vineet Pandey. I'm 6-time NET qualified, double JRF, and 16 set qualified. This gives me a lot of experience and confidence to talk about the paper pattern. Friends, can you ever imagine that they're gonna ask you a question related to Ayodhya Babri Masjid demolition? This time they have asked two books related to Babri Masjid. I don't understand why they are mixing politics and political issues. Moreover, if you just say that these are just books, then tell me in which Indian university these books are being taught in graduation or in post-graduation. As you can see that there are multiple papers. I was going through the questions, I was thinking that what is the structure and how a common student, every student can qualify. I'll be very frank with you. If you watch my last video that I recorded from Kerala after the exam, please remember the last minute of that video. I said that not as a teacher but as an aspirant, as a student, a learner, I'm telling you this paper is shit, because the standard was totally zero. I really do not want people those who have simply mugged up the basic things and qualified and now are teaching in the universities, which ultimately results in the failure of the Indian education system. Maybe I think these guys, they got heard, because I also mailed them to have the standard of the paper, and this is the reason that they have re-implemented 2013-2014's NET JRF structure. Paper is totally changed, totally different, but if we say that this is a drastic change, then no, it's not a drastic change. It's just that they made paper easy after 2015 December NET, 2016 and 17 were very easy, and now they have raised the standards once again. Now the question comes that what are the question patterns and how a student should study? What are the ways of studies? And if you have the collection of books, how much those books are going to help you in the exam? What are the amount of the questions which are asked from the books that you have? You're gonna watch it, approx thousands of people, like 15 to 20,000 people will watch this video. I ask you, how many of you have books with you, which is David Deitch's, William J. Long, Compton Rickett, Legis Kazamia, M.H. Abraham, Peter Berry, Raman Selden, N. Krishnaswamy, and then some B. Prasad, R.D. Trivedi kind of. Many of you have it. Yes, because the most canonical structure of books are the 3 to 4 books. Now I ask, do you have any other book related to NET? Then you will have, I have some particular writer, Keats, G.B. Shaw, Eliot. But no, they are just one question writer. And again, there is no guarantee they will ask you or not. How many of you have actually the books related to the latest publications like Ayodhya Babri Masjid demolition, or the questions which have been asked, How many of you have the books related to the latest Booker awardees, like the question of position which has been asked again? When you study criticism, you simply go for Peter Berry. But do you remember that in structuralism and post-structuralism, we have to go for all the writers and their actual details one by one. And this is the reason that this time the texture and structure concept was taken from Alan Tate, which is actually in-depth study of Alan Tate. Instead of taking Alan Tate related to new criticism and then structuralism, they went for one writer and in-depth question. Means each and every student for the next exam must read each and every writer of theory and in detail. Means the separate writers, books, their contribution to the particular theory, their own coinage of the terms, books, lines, details. When we teach George Orwell, we people, when we teach you, we also have a system of evaluating, studying the last paper pattern. We simply go for set exams, net exams, MPhil PhD entrance exams, and then we review the papers and we decide our syllabus to be the best. And this is the reason we are the best. I, Vineet Pandey, get the biggest crowd of NetJR because we keep surveying. So luckily, when we teach, we are actually giving you 90% content in the exam. Why? Because we are actually studying the canonical thing. But what can we do if they are asking about, like we talk about this, there was a question, I'll just pick it for you. Talking about this Mahesh Dattani question number 25, which that the series that I have on a muggy night in Mumbai. There is a history of NetJRF where they ask about Tara, they ask about final solution, they also talk about dance like a man. But who will study this work on a muggy night in Mumbai? I asked you, check your books. Do you have it with you? No. Do you have any particular book on Indian modern theatre where Mahesh Dattani, this famous work has been given to you in details? Then question number 24, implied reader. I have taught this and in details. You can watch my video also. This is available. I'm not going to talk about this. Question number 24, implied reader, easy. Why Plato banners? These are the easy questions. Then we have Anglo section. This was easy. The reference that I have taken now. Okay, question number 97 in my series. They are talking about Butler English. Check your books. Check your collection of books. How many of you have actually the collection of books or the notes which are dealing with teaching of English? And no doubt, it's not about teaching of English that you have a book and you'll be answerable. No, even we accept, I am accepting on the camera that even we didn't teach Butler English. I never thought that they will talk about the origin of English language in India from the British timing, because in net syllabus, they never say that this can be the part of your question. In fact, teaching of English is not mentioned by UGC NTA as the part of syllabus. So this is technically something, they are like, this is the English exam and read everything in English. So how can you read everything in English? Butler English is something which is very early, early language system. Then they have also talked about the agrarian reforms and the writers related to agrarian reforms of 1650s and 1660s. I bet that even the professors of these subjects, they have no idea about the agrarian reformer writers of 1650s and 1660s of America. Who studies that? So no doubt they are the stupid questions and they are actually going to trouble you. Then we have a question here. Question number 32, AS-BAT position that I have taught in my class in detail. I told it's important. Question number 31, Horace is important. Question number 33. They have smartly asked about editor of a magazine, the Edinburgh Review, Francis Jeffrey. My students who are watching, they will remember I told them he is the father of modern reviews. His comment has been taken here for the writers Coleridge, Sidney and others, Coleridge, Southey and Wordsworth. How many of you actually study all the reviews and their editors and their modern, the reviewers, their writers, contributors? You simply remember Tatler, Spectator, Rambler, Idler or Watchman, Champion that we generally teach in my class. So we talk about these things, but again I'm accepting that we also don't go in depth. So what technically they have done is, they have selected some random topics and then random topics which have been selected, the minor writers, random writers, unknown people, they have asked in-depth questions without thinking that these questions, these topics are not taught in any graduation, any post-graduation courses of Indian universities. I understand this is injustice to you, and no doubt I teach in an institute, I have a coaching center, I have given the amazing results, but I do not support this. Because making paper unconventional, making paper something out of the box, where a poor student who has no money to go for coaching center, a poor student who cannot come to Delhi to survive, how will he qualify? This is, I wish and I request you, if you have people of UGC in contact, please forward this video to them, because I will also forward to my contacts in UGC. The questions of, then we go for more questions and see. Question number 38, Italo Calvino. 99% people, neither they study Italo Calvino nor they teach you. Talk to your teachers whether they taught you Italo Calvino or not. But now the question comes to me. When we teach, we talk about Italo Calvino for individual cities and one more work, our ancestors. But answer here is the Castle of the Crossed Destinies. Italian writers are not mentioned, moreover Italo Calvino was never so much important. Means they simply surpassed the two important books of Italo Calvino and went for someone unknown, someone minor, and then they asked the question. LGBT studies, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender studies. Nobody studies that. How many of you have books on these things? Nobody. We simply, when we teach feminism, we talk about queer theory, I give them references. But again, I accept that even we don't go in depth, because we are the result-oriented people. We believe in success. So what we do, along with hard work, we always mix the smart work. When we see that this writer, that book is not being asked by anyone, then we don't teach. But we have seen this, so no doubt we are going to raise our standards also. And moreover, I have few more references for a few more examples here. The term digger, question number 12, the term digger, the same thing that I talked about 1649 and 50, agrarian things. Who knows this? But now to teach my students being Vineet Pandey, because they have a lot of hopes from me, I'm going to study this, I'm going to talk about this. So instead of giving you a lot of other examples of the question, all I want to say is that yes, paper was unconventional, tricky, tough, and no doubt, I'm sure my students, they will do good, but not the actually what I'm expecting, that I'll have a biggest result. So I think there will be some change. Many of my students who couldn't do that much smart work will miss it. But as a teacher, because this is not about this institute coaching or something related to monetary things, being a teacher, being Vineet Pandey, I must tell you, I'm happy with this pattern. But not why? Because if it's not because you people couldn't do this, it's because this will raise the standard. Many of you must be knowing that there are a lot of malpractices are being done, mugging up concepts are done, cheating concepts are done. So people, those who are carrying phones or those who are actually given some help, they won't be able to do these things. And no doubt, we are thinking about Indian education system. So this pattern is good, but yes, I request them that you must be given equality. All the students should have equality, because this was above the standard of University of Delhi also, JNU also. So I just want that a student who is studying in Bihar, watching us in Rajasthan, studying in Haryana or in Tamil Nadu, I simply want that please, these stupid questions or unreasonable questions, you must teach my students, you must teach each and every individual so that he can have equality. A girl who is not allowed to come to Delhi should have these things in her syllabus, and then you raise the question paper standard. That's my review. Now I'm talking about whether it's good or bad for a student. Yes, it will decrease the merit, you will get the chance. Moreover, if you're watching some you're having some the market guide books, the basic structured things, I suggest you that net paper is no more conventional. So I suggest you stop going for the basic market guide books. You can simply either contact us for the latest books that you have to study. But again, I'm telling you a practical thing. For example, we talk about Alan Tate's question of structure and texture. So are you supposed to go and buy one book of Alan Tate? So if you're going to buy one book for one question, there is no guarantee that next time they'll ask the same question. And if I ask you, okay, buy all the books of available writers who are related to theory, then you will have 100 books of the theoretical writers. Then some Beardsley, anybody. You'll be having a lot of writers, a lot of books. Will you be having time to read 100 textbooks to have at least 2 questions of theory? Nobody does that. When you read British history by David H. William J. Long, how many of you actually focus on those publications, those minor works, those mass the following things? So this is actually a problem with this English students, English NET JRF. This is the reason the NET JRF in English is called very tough, very miraculous if you qualify. Because the problem is that even if you follow the right path without any guidance, you will have to spend a lot of money on your books, on purchasing things, and then lot of time to cover up those things. How will you read 300 pages to get one question with no surety? So that's the reason what we do. I'm personally, as an aspirant, as a learner who finds his life, my soul is in it. I'm happy because they have given me approx 50 plus topics which should be revised by me. I have studied around 80 to 90% things which were very known to me. But yes, there is 10% part of the paper which was quite unknown to me, like the term digger and all. So even I'm going to study Ayodhya Babri Masjid concept. I can complain why did they ask the question, but next batch will be prepared with these questions. So next time they ask about Mumbai 1993 blast, I can talk. They talk about 2004 tsunami, my people will talk, my students. Because we are here to provide you quality, we are here to make you out of the box the best of the best. You have certain comments, share your point of views, and one more thing that I'm going to add. This is a very important point, friends. Do not get disappointed because I'm telling you a fact. Tell yourself that the more you make the paper tough, the more I'll be ready to qualify. आप जितना टफ बनाओगे मैं करके दिखाऊंगा. ये दम होना चाहिए. आप ही की तरह छोटे से गांव से मैंने शुरुआत की थी, एक जिद की थी. आज यहाँ पे बैठ के पेपर का रिव्यू दे रहा हूँ because I started like you. I was one of you and I am one of you. May God bless you. Contact me on my numbers given. Let me know your views, your point of views, and any query related to NET exam. May God bless. Take care.
Thank you so much for watching us and to subscribe and like our comments. Okay, thank you so much.